This is Fitness Blender's Feel Good Stretching Routine. In this workout, we're going to be doing 9 fluid stretching exercises, and we're doing 8 repetitions for each exercise. All of these exercises are body weight driven, so you're not going to need any equipment except for an optional exercise mat. We're only going to be doing 1 round of these exercises, so let's go ahead and get started with the first of our 9 exercises, the Cobra to Child's Pose. Go ahead and get ready. And start up. Laying flat on your stomach, place those hands just next to that rib cage, slowly pressing into those hands, arching that back up really nice and high as is comfortable, stretching that head up just a little bit, nice and slow, back down before you sit back onto those heels, into that child's pose, stretching those arms out in front of you, and then nice and slow back. Just keep alternating back and forth, nice slow fluid motions, trying to get a good stretch on that chest, those abdominal muscles, and even into those hip flexors with that Cobra stretch. Then sitting back in those heels, stretching out your chest, and maybe even those glutes, and a little bit into that lower back. Just keep moving back and forth in a nice slow fluid motion, taking a time to pause at each position for just a couple of seconds before you move back again. Make sure you're keeping those lungs open. You don't want to hold your breath. You want to be breathing as normally as you can throughout this entire motion. And we're almost done, just 2 more full repetitions. Arch that chest up, kick that head back just a little bit, and slowly back into those heels. 1 more time to that Cobra pose, arching that chest up as high as is comfortable. Then nice and slow back into that child's pose, sitting back on those heels, stretching those arms. And let it relax. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next stretch, the cat to cow. Go ahead and get ready. And start up with a nice neutral spine, hands underneath those shoulders, knees underneath those hips. Arch that back up nice and high, holding for a couple of seconds, and then dip that lower back down really nice and low. Again, hold for a couple of seconds before you move it back up. Every single time you arch that back up, you want to feel like you're pulling those shoulders and hips in towards each other just a little bit, like you're doing a little bit of a crunch. You want to feel a stretch to the outside of that back. And then as you dip that stomach down, you want to feel a stretch through your abdominal muscles and maybe even into your chest. Just keep alternating back and forth, nice, slow, controlled motions. Again, breathing as normally as you can. Try not to hold your breath. Just alternating back and forth, taking a couple of seconds to freeze at each position to get a good stretch. Almost done, just 2 more. Arch that back up nice and high. And slowly back down, let that back really drop. 1 more time, arch it back up. Slowly back down. And let it relax. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next exercise. Be laying on your right side to begin with for this one, the lying side jacks. Go ahead and get ready. And start up. Extend your left arm and left leg in opposite directions. Slowly bring them up, meeting at the top just above that waist, and then slowly drop them back down, hovering just above the ground, stretching them in opposite directions. Get a good stretch as they're hovering just a little bit off the ground, and then pick that arm and leg right back up again. Just keep alternating back and forth, nice slow fluid motion, trying to get a really good stretch at the bottom. Just 2 more repetitions, nice slow fluid motion, keep those lungs open. 1 more, nice and slow up. Back down, a little bit of a stretch. And switch sides. Go ahead and flip over to the other side, laying on that left side this time. You're going to bring that right arm up over top of your head, extend that right arm and right leg in opposite directions, get a little bit of a stretch. Then nice and slow, bring them up, slowly over top of that waist, then nice and slow back down. Hover just a few inches off the ground, stretching them in opposite directions, then right back up. And we're almost done, just 2 more repetitions. Slowly up. Back down, hover just a little bit off the ground, get a good stretch. 1 more, slowly up. Back down, a little bit of a hover. And let it relax. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next exercise, the Pilates Saw. So go ahead and sit up on your tailbone for this one. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Sitting on that tailbone, extend those legs out, flat against the ground, as wide as is comfortable. Nice straight line to that back, arms straight out to your sides, hovering at shoulder height. Start by rotating that right shoulder and arm to the outside of your left foot. Then nice and slow back up, straight in the center. And then that left arm comes down to the outside of your right foot. Just keep alternating back and forth. Every single time you come back up to the center, make sure that spine's really nice and straight and that you're keeping those legs completely locked out. You can either let those toes completely relax so you're pointing them out away from you, or you can flex them back in towards you to get a little bit more of a stretch on that hamstring. Now, because this is a Pilates exercise, there's a specific breathing pattern with this one. So you inhale as you come up to the center. Exhale as you stretch down to the outside of that foot. Inhale as you come back up to the center. And exhale back down. Just keep alternating back and forth. Nice, slow, fluid breathing. Make sure you never hold your breath. And just 2 repetitions left on each side. Nice, slow, controlled motion. Stretching down towards that foot. Exhaling as you go down. Inhale as you come back up. Just 1 more on each side. Slowly down. Inhale, come back up. Down to that right foot for the last time. Back up. And let it relax. All right, good job. Let's go ahead and move on to the next exercise, a toe touch swoop. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Starting that same position you were doing that Pilates Saw with, but instead of going down 1 arm at a time, you're going to use both hands, stretch it down to that right foot, slowly swoop across in front of your body, off to the left foot, slowly back up straight, pause in the center for just a second, then back down. Exhale as you go down to the center, inhale as you come back up across, then again, exhale down, inhale across the center as you come back up. Just keep going back and forth, nice slow fluid motion, again keeping those legs locked out, pointing those toes to make it a little bit easier, or you can flex those toes back to get a little bit more of a stretch out of those hamstrings and maybe even into that calf. And we're almost done, just 2 more repetitions. Nice and slow down that right leg, across to the center, up across that left. Nice straight back, then slowly back down that left leg, back over to your right side, come back up and pause. You got 1 more to go. Nice and slow down, exhale, inhale back up. Exhale down that left leg, inhale across to the center, back up that right leg, and let it relax. All right, let's go ahead and get ready for our next stretch, the butterfly plus a chest stretch. Go ahead and get ready. And start up. Bring the soles of those feet together, kick those knees out to the sides. Use the muscles to the outside of your thighs to pull those legs down as best you can. Feel that stretch to the inside of that thigh. Rounding those shoulders over forward to get a stretch to that lower back. Then tilting that chest back, pulling those shoulders back to get a stretch to that chest. Then nice and slow back forward again. Now make sure you take the time to pause for a second or 2 before you switch back to that other position. Just nice, slow, controlled motions, keeping those lungs open. Exhaling as you roll those shoulders forward. Inhale as you bring those shoulders back up, pressing that chest forward and pulling those shoulders back. Almost done, just 2 more. Stretch that chest back. Arch that chest forward, round those shoulders. Back up 1 more time, pull those shoulders back. Back down, round that back. and let it relax. All right, let's go and move on to the next exercise. Go and stand up for this one. We're going to do a squatting circle stretch. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Those feet wider than shoulder width apart. Bring those hands directly above your head. Nice big swooping motion down in front of those legs as you squat. Then slowly back up across the other side as you stand back up. And then reverse that direction from the top. Nice and slow back down again. Every single time you come back up to the top, rotate those shoulders off to one side just a little bit and get a good stretch to those shoulders and maybe even a little bit into that chest and those abdominal muscles, possibly even those hip flexors in the front of that hip. Just keep it going. Nice, slow, controlled motion. Slow, deep squat as you bring those arms across in front of your body down towards the ground. Then slowly back up to the other side, stretching back, coming back around again. Just 2 more repetitions left. Nice, slow, fluid controlled motion. Keep those lungs open. Keep that back nice and flat. Just alternating back and forth. Stretching it back at the top. 1 more back around. And let it relax. All right, good job. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. This is a back and hamstring windmill. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Again, bring those hands up over top of your head. This time you're going to keep those knees locked out. You're not going to bend those knees. All that motion's coming from just that hip and a little bit of that lower back. Just alternating back and forth. Nice full motion coming all the way around over top of your head. Pausing at the bottom this time. Switching back over. Make sure every single time you start to lean off to one side, you get a little bit of a stretch to that oblique. Then nice and slow down, stretching those hamstrings. Get a little bit of stretch on that lower back and then slowly back up. Come back down the other side, pause in the center, slowly come back up, stretch it over, right back down to the center again. Make sure that you're keeping those lungs open, nice big breath every single time you come up, exhaling as you drop down. And we're almost done, just 2 more in each direction. Nice slow fluid motion. Pause at the bottom, slowly come back up, all the way over, back around to the bottom again, pause again, reverse directions. 1 more to go. Slowly back around, back down to the ground, and slowly back up. This is your last one, and let it relax. All right, going on to our last exercise, we're doing a quadricep pull and pulse. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Kick that left leg back into that left hand. Right hand out in front of you for helping for balance and stabilization. Nice short, shallow squat as low as is comfortable. You don't have to go low. You can be a quarter squat, a half squat, whatever you can control. Making sure you keep that balance. Nice and slow. Make sure you're getting a little bit of an extra stretch every single time you squat down. You're kind of pulling that heel to your butt just a little bit more, as much as is comfortable on that knee, and then pulling that foot and that leg up back behind you to get a little bit more of a stretch on that quadricep, the front of that thigh, and that hip flexor. All right, let's go ahead and switch legs. Do the same thing on the other side. Grabbing that right foot with that right hand, squatting down slightly with that left leg. Nice, slow, controlled motion. Remember, every single time you squat, you want to pull that heel to your butt just a tiny bit more and try to pull that thigh behind you a little bit more to get more of a stretch on that quadricep, the front of that thigh, and that hip flexor, the front of that hip. Almost done. Keep it going. Just have 2 repetitions left. Nice, slow squat. 1 more. And let it relax. All right, good job. This workout is done. You just finished Fitness Blender's Feel Good Stretching Routine.